I am here. Oh, with a frog in my throat. No, I'm here. So, first of all, if you do follow me regularly, I am very apologetic about Wednesday. It was so kind of you. Everyone was very concerned, which is kind of nice. But it was also a bit traumatic, to say the least. So generally, it was three things. The internet predominantly had decided it didn't want to work. Facebook didn't want to work, and then I had a crisis with my dad. So he's fine though. He's just demanding, I think, is putting it on a nice, gentle. Yeah. Okay, well, we won't go into that because we have got lovelies. And I know that most of you have already found the lovelies, but I am just so pleased that they're here that I just wanted to have a play with them. And so I hope you've got a little bit longer today because I kind of wanted to squeeze two things in today as we missed it on Thursday. So what we have is the new collection from the 2Js, which is the Spring Stamping Collection. So it's a four stamps. I've used them beyond using them. So let me just show you in their packets, which isn't really very good. This one is called the Spring Bouquet, which I can't decide which is my favourite, to be honest with you. I just got carried away with the samples. It's better to see it on there, isn't it? So Spring Bouquet. Then we had the corner one, which is called Spring Flower Corner. And again, you can see these have all been really used, which is a lovely one. Might be using that one in a minute. Not quite sure yet. Lovely words. Then we have got, of course, the Spring Bow, which is, again, beautiful. Some lovely wording as well. We've got, oops, crash bang wallop. We have got the Spring, oh, can't find it. Oh, well, we have anyway. The Spring Frame, which is sort of like a wreath. And then we've also got some lovely wording as well. So a beautiful collection, which I'm going to mix and match with another collection which came out on the same day, which was from Julie Hickey, which was the some other spring flowers. There's very little, literally 2 sets left, but I do have a few more of these sentiments because I thought these sentiments were rather lovely. So I'm going to be using them. I've also got in some Versafine Smokey Gray cubes. Now, if you're a fan of John Lockwood, he's always saying that he doesn't like to stamp flowers in black unless you're using black elsewhere. He always uses them with the Smoky Gray. Oh, can't hardly see it. And so I managed to get some of these in, which are the cubes, because for some unknown reason, they're not doing the larger, or it's hard to get hold of the larger ink pads at the moment. But these are lovely and juicy, so I'm going to be using those. I've also got hold of some of the Wink of Stella. So this is the clear Wink of Stella, which I've been using a lot just recently, and everybody says, where can I get it? You can now get it with me over on the website, which is, in case you don't know, maximumcraft.com. I'm also going to be using some different mediums here today, and one of them is the Distress watercolor pencils from Tim Holtz and Ranger. Again, very limited what I've got left, but they are great fun to play with. So we're going to have a go at that. And I'm also going to have a go at some ordinary oil pencils, I think they would be called. But anyway, we will have a go at it all. But you can see I've got already one stamped here, but I'm going to stamp one up to show you. So what I've got is one of the small cards. Now, these are like a cream card. They say 5 inches, but you know what that means. That means it fits into a 5-inch envelope. So this is from the 4-inch layering die sets, and I've taken just the square one, just the outer square one, and I've cut it out of craft card. So very different to what I normally use, but I think you'll agree when we get going that that will give us a really nice effect. So we're going to stamp up first. So I'm going to pop that into the corner there. And I'm going to use this Spring Bouquet because, as I said, I have to say, I just love colouring this one. Now, I want to put some sentiments on it. So I want to make sure that I'm positioning it so that there is enough room to put such sentiments on there. Whoops. So I'm going to put that about there, I reckon. And pick that up. And I'm going to ink it up with the Versafine in Smokey Gray. Okay. And as I said, these little cubes are really lovely and juicy. And if you're doing a detailed stamp, it's quite nice to have that little one. So I'm inking those up. Let's come out the way, winky, winky, winky. So I'm going to put that down a second time because we're working on craft card and it soaks the ink up. So I would always do 2 lots of stamping if I'm doing it onto the craft card. There you go. It's beautiful, isn't it? So then I'm going to take that one off, risking getting ink everywhere because I want to put a couple of sentiments on. So as I said, that one is called the Spring Bouquet. Would make a lovely bouquet, wouldn't it? And then I'm going to take these sentiments. So we've got on here, we've got, just wanted to say, happy birthday, have the best day ever, enjoy every minute and have a magical birthday, which I think is quite a nice selection. So I'm going to put, just wanted to say, whoops, up at the top there. Oh, it's decided to go a bit wonky. Don't go wonky, thank you. I should have used my stamping templates for this, shouldn't I? However, you don't have the time to sit there and wait for me to go and get them now, do you? Having sat there for an hour or more waiting for me on Wednesday. Oh, God. Right. Let me pick up these and then just, again, with the same Versafine Grey. See, that's not quite straight, but I think that's better. And then just ink these up. And again, probably we will have to go twice because of the craft card. There we go. So these make obviously a completely flat card for you and just more like a little notebook, I think, almost. So as you can see, that then would go onto there and you sort of, well, you could almost say your card's finished, to be absolutely honest with you, because it's, you know, if you don't fancy colouring, it's just done, isn't it? It is just done. Now I'm going to leave that to one side slightly because I've already got this one here and we will work on that one in a minute. We'll go back. So this is the same thing. I'm going to bring in the camera there. So it is the same thing. And I'm going to colour it with my watercolour pencils. So these are the Distress watercolour pencils. Okay. Oh, sorry, I just realised there's some words here. And I forgot to say hello to everybody. So what's the difference between the 1, 2, 3 watercolour pencil kits? They've all got different colours in, basically. So if you are a Distress ink fan, you will know that there are, oh goodness, well, I don't even know how many, probably 70 colours, maybe. I really don't know, but lots. And so what they've done is they've taken what I would have suggested are their most popular colours and put them into the 3 different sets. So that's what they're all about. So can you scribble? Tick. Have you got one of these pens? Tick. Or to be honest, any watercolour pencil? Tick. Have you got an Aqua pen? hopefully tick. And so we can have a go then. So all I'm going to do is scribble. So I'm just going to scribble an amount of this pencil rather, at the bottom of that flower. Okay. Need to take a little bit of, oh, thrown it on the floor. Hold on. Just going to take a piece of tissue, kitchen towel, and I'm just going to go from the bottom and push my colour around, just not going over the lines really. Nothing mind-blowing, nothing difficult, just taking, I'm not squeezing the water out or anything like that. I'm literally just pushing that water around. You can see it's still wet in part of it. And that's all we're going to do. So we're just going to scribble. We can all scribble into the centre, down the bottom. I'm only doing it there because then that will give me a better, a deeper part. I'm wiggling the table. Sorry. I'm just going to go all round there quickly. So let me see what else you're saying. Oh, I see Hazel's here. How are you doing, Hazel? Glad that you're here. Hope everything is getting along. It's obviously going to be not a quick fix, but I hope that you're doing okay. As I hope, of course, that everybody else is. So I'm just scribbling. You can see there is nothing unique in what I'm doing. I am just scribbling. Don't be afraid to scribble. I absolutely loved these sets, so much so that I think I went a bit over the top with the samples. But anyway, whatever. Just scribble. So I think that's all the flowers. So now we just go back in, and then with my pen, I'm just going up to that outline and just going round. So it's really simple. It's again a bit like we did last week where we were doing the white flowers, colouring in the white flowers. You're really not needing to be a colourist for this. You could, if you wish, just have the outline like I did with just now. Oh, and by the way, because we're using watercolour here, that's why we're using the Versafine Grey. So last week I was using the Memento, and that's because we were colouring with the alcohol markers. Alcohol at 11 o'clock in the morning. Can't be bad. But no alcohol today. We have got just watercolour. We're on the water now. And so therefore, we're not needing to have quite so, it would bleed if we put that in. So we're going with the Versafine, and then it will not bleed. It will resist it slightly. So as you can see, as I'm going round, and hopefully if you can see that, some of them are starting to dry. And the ones that are starting to dry, therefore, because I started with my deeper colour in the centre, they are a deeper colour in the centre. So that's the whole idea. I am going a bit quick from my point of view. I would normally find this quite therapeutic, to be honest. Should have tried it on Wednesday. Not Wednesday. Thursday, wasn't it? Thursday morning. I didn't even get that right when I was saying that to you. I tell you, I'm traumatised. Traumatised. Not least for the fact, again, the people that are members of the Maximum Craft Facebook group, and if you aren't, why aren't you? Do come along and join us. I don't think, am I right in saying, I don't think that you would have got an invite again because to come to this today. Because unfortunately, Facebook decided, don't, you've invited too many people and they can't come. So, oops, come here. I really don't know why that is, but there you go. So I've used and this one was Candied Apple. Okay. Then I'm going to go in with Crushed Olive. and I'm going to do the same scribble onto my leaves. But I'm also going to mix that with another green, and in this case it is Rustic Wilderness. So I'm going to pop a little bit of that on as well. So just because I want a bit of a mixture of colour. Okay, I'm going to keep that one to one side. And all I'm going to do again is just pick up those colours and take them to the outside with my aqua marker. And because I've used the two colours, you will get a nice little mixture. I prefer to turn my work round than turn me round. But, I must admit, stamping was where I started with craft. Where did you all start with craft? Were you a stamper, or were you a, I don't know, die cutter maybe, but that's more in the more recent times, isn't it, the die cutting? I've obviously progressed, if you could call it that, onto the die cutting, but I do still love when we get a good set of stamps out. I do still love to do that as well. Now we just need to fill in a little bit. You can see there's sort of some gaps, and I'm just putting the darker green, so that was the Rustic Wilderness, into areas that I would have said were just a little bit needing to be filled up. And all I'm doing is just popping that into the centre. So there you go. So, whoops, that one is now virtually finished. I'm going to pop a little bit of Wink of Stella onto it, just so that we've got a little bit. I'm just putting it into the centres, and I'm just doing it so that we've got just a little bit of a sparkle there. Again, I'll show you that in a second. I'm just going over the centres of those, and then hopefully, can you see that little shine? Mine's back. But you can see now as it's drying that because I scribbled in the centre of the flowers, that's given me a darker bit, and it sort of works out from it. Oh, I started with cross stitching. Yeah, to be honest. Well, was that first? I think cross stitching was first for me, to be honest. Hold on a second. But yeah, and then stamping, which is good. Now, that is doing it with watercolour pencils, in this case distress pencils. I think they give you a really lovely look. And to finish it off, it literally, all we're going to do is pop that straight onto that card. I am going to do it with some spray glue. And then I can pick it up. It is, whoops, just about ready to go. I don't use the scalloped cards very much anymore, but I have to say, with these scalloped outlines, I think that looks really quite pretty, doesn't it? What do you think? Can you see the Wink of Stella there as well? I don't have any more of the pencils, I'm afraid. I might be able to get some more in, but they are a bit like hen's teeth at the moment, as they say. With kits. Oh, you started with kits. Yeah, kits are still very popular, aren't they, eh? Right, this is the one that we did just now. And this is, let's just put this back. This is the one that I just wanted to colour in a slightly different way, and that is with Prismacolors. So the Polychromos, I should say. So Prismacolor, Polychromos, that type of pencil. I've just got two colours. I've got a white and a green. They are literally white and earth green yellowish. Goodness me, what a colour to call it. But anyway, whatever. These are a completely different medium, and they again are good fun to work with, but they work in a totally different way. Now, I wanted to say that we can colour flowers white. We cheated last week. If you were with me last week and saw what we were doing, we were cheating because we were having a white flower in the first place, putting in some shadows that then made it look as if we'd coloured it white, which I thought was very effective myself. And June Smith has done a beautiful sample of that today, which is on the Facebook page. But really, we want to be able to colour white as well, and this is a way of doing so. So the white pencil in anything like this is generally for highlighting, and a very good job it does it too. But if we're working with craft card or black or a darker colour, we can perhaps get away with doing such a thing. So again, as you can see, I am scribbling, but the secret of this one is to scribble with hardly any pressure. So I'm not really pushing down hard, because all that will do is end up with you getting a shiny surface to work with. So the harder that you push with these pens, the more that you will get a shiny surface. But you can see that I'm really not doing much else other than scribbling. Yeah, but can you see how that's coming up? Now again, if I was doing this on a, well, if I had more time, I had to think about how to phrase that one, then I would take longer to do it, but you haven't got all day to sit there, have you? Not all day. So I've gone over every one of them once and I've made them all white. Okay. So I'm just going to then go in a little bit more, and on the edges, I'm just going to do, I'm not pressing any harder, but I'm just putting another sort of layer. And when I pull out a second, hopefully you should see that these couple that I've done up here already do look already whiter than these ones. Hopefully you can see that. So all I've done is gone over it with a second layer. Okay. So yeah, let's have a look, see what else that you're doing. Oh yeah, decoupage. That's another one, isn't it? Yeah. I think probably we were all a bit crafty when we were younger. I know I used to love cross stitch and things like that right from an early age. Not very good at sewing. Well, I say that. I'm not very good at sewing and making sort of dresses and things like that, but I used to make cartoon characters. Gosh, that was an age ago. Sylvester and Tweety Pie were my most popular ones. And do you know, I think that's 40 plus years ago. Oh my goodness me. I can't tell you how many Sylvester and Tweety Pies I made. And Sylvester was about 4 foot high. Gosh. A long time ago, eh? Long time ago. But yeah, there are some crafts that I haven't tried. Some crafts that I don't intend trying, to be honest with you. But stamping and die cutting, bring it on. So you can see that I've gone around that again. Now, I'm then going to come in with my, what do we call it? Earth green, yellowish, whatever, a green. And I'm going to go into the centres, and I'm just going to go the same sort of, if you recall where we were last week saying that there's markings on these that will give you an idea of where the shading would be, as there are these, and these are sort of lines. And so I'm just scribbling along those same lines, but with this time with the green. You see how that's coming through? So I'm not sort of doing anything really other than just going over any lines that would be there. Now these pencils, if you are really into colouring, should be used with paper stubs, which look like a pencil but are made out of paper, like a really rock hard thing. And then you have a special type of oil, although I have used baby oil before now, that will help these colours to blend easier. So this is in the raw, if you could call it that, but they are much more blendable if you've got the right sort of things that go with it, which basically are melting, I suppose you could call it. You see the difference with the green coming in there? Sorry, getting carried away because I love this look. I love white flowers with a little bit of green. Oh, happy days. So talking of happy days, let me just tell you what we have got. So we have got Wednesday, I will be here at 6 o'clock. Whether you get an invite to it or not will be down to good old Facebook. But I would hope that by now we all know that nearly always on a Wednesday and a Sunday I am here. So Wednesday at 6 o'clock with some lovely goodies coming our way. Very excited about those. And then next Sunday, because we will already be Wednesday, in fact, is March, isn't it? 1st of March. Spring, though. Let's think positive. Spring. And yeah, and it's card kit next week. So the monthly card kit will be launched next Sunday, and that's at 11 o'clock. I think you know what it's like, every time you do something, you think you prefer that one to what you did before, because I do really like the one that we're going to be doing next week. But I have liked all of them, so hopefully you will too. You'll be able to get that from next Sunday. Now I'm just going over, like I did with the other ones, that where there is the odd little bit in between, where there seems to be a bit of a gap, I'm just going over that with the little bit of green, just to sort of bring it all together. Okay. What do you think? Very different. Obviously, we've used a different colour. Oh, let's bring them both in. Oh, goodness me. Now, what you could do with any of these, and I think I'm going to do it with this one, is I've got some of the little black pearls, and I will find my little, actually, just change that nozzle over. You can see that I've got a squashed nozzle. This is my pickup tool, and I dropped it, and I therefore should have a nozzle that looks like that. I'm just going to change that over. Bit of a difference, eh? But I just think that it would be good to just pop little bits of, oh, let's see what I've got. These little black. Now, I'm hoping that I'm not going to spoil it by doing this, but who knows? I did do one like this and it didn't spoil it, so I don't think it will, but let's just... So I've got the little white dots on there at the minute, which obviously is the dry clear glue. I found out something else about these glue bottles as well this week, but I haven't got a chance to tell you that at the moment, so bear with me with that. Oh, come here. I dropped that in the wrong place, didn't I? You see what I'm trying to do? I'm just taking these little black centres and I'm just popping them into where the black pieces were on here. The centres. Here. I've got glue all over it as well. That doesn't really help, does it? Oh, dropped it. Come back. Oh, I've got glue in the wrong place here. Oh, goodness, come here. So this just adds a little something to it, I think. But again, you could just go over with a dark pen or pencil, one of the darker pencils, and just rub that in. But if you have some of these little black-eyed peas, oh, that rhymes, then you might want to just use those instead. Come here. Oh dear. I thought the glue had gone off of that now, but no, it hasn't. So let's just put in the centres into these flowers because I can really, and it just gives a little bit of a something extra to it. Oh, let's go around the right way. So there you go. Now let me just finish off the other card. So I'm just going to spray onto there. So again, these would look all really quite different if you did them on white cards. I just like the effect of the craft card, and I like to do the watercolors onto sort of, well, onto watercolor card, but in all honesty, because this is that much thicker, it just allows you to do that as well. So hold on. Oh, I wonder what on earth you were talking about to do with eggs. But I think you mean sort of like the eggs, like the blown ostrich type eggs. Is that what we're talking about? I missed that bit. Anyway, I can just see that you're talking about the glue bottles. So, want to hold on? Hold on. I'll just show you what I do with them. Wait a minute. Sorry, because it wasn't in the same room. So what I do with this, I take my bottle, my empty bottle, and I take one of these pipette things, the droppers, and I pick up some water. Now this is dirty water because it's been in from my painting when I need it. So I squeeze the top, I pick up an amount, which is one sort of, I think it's 3 ml this takes, but just one squeeze. I then would put that in my empty bottle and then I would fill it up with glue. And the good thing is that because these are very squodgy, you can then just mix it up by just literally squeezing that glue bottle. But what I was saying was that I have now got one bottle which I keep the pin in, like I do there, and that's for very fine work. But I've also found that if I take the pin out, the pin out from that bit, not the pin out from there, the pin out from that bit, I can keep this one with a thicker nozzle, if you see what I mean. Absolutely brilliant. I haven't had to squeeze it at all, and it just flows out beautifully. So that's what I'm going to be doing from now on, is have one for fine, and because they come two in a pot, one for fine and one for not so fine. So there you are. Now you know. With my dropper. Anyway, we digress. So we go back to our cards. So I'm not quite sure which one I like best, because you can hardly compare them, can you? Because they are done in a different colour. So in all honesty, because of that, it's hard to actually say which ones you prefer. But they work in a completely different way. I've got to put a little bit of Old Winky on here. Just gonna put that on. But again, if you use watercolor pens or pencils or any sorts, the only thing I would say is that if you've got like pro markers, the alcoholic markers, because of the craft card being so thirsty, it's not such a good look, or I haven't managed to get such a good look. That's not to say someone else wouldn't, of course, but I am never quite pleased with the results that gives me. But this is just the white pen and a green pen, no more. In fact, you can actually buy these pens individually. So if you've never had them before and fancy having a go, treat yourself to a white one and a green one. Get a flower stamp and just stamp it up like that. So there you go. There you go. So lots to show you today, and I'm sorry that I've taken a bit longer, but because we missed out showing you on Thursday because of circumstances beyond our control. But as I said, pleased to tell you that, get it right in a minute. Pleased to tell you that all is well. Seems like the white one is the favourite. Yeah. Whatever. See, because then you could, I'm digressing again, aren't I? You could if you wanted. I don't know. You could then go in with the grey into the centre. Leave it. I'll leave it. So thank you so much for joining me, everyone. Products that still are available over on the website. I know that I've managed to get a few more of these. And I was going to use the beautiful corner one, wasn't I? Well, I didn't do that. They are still available, and do treat yourself to some of these lovely sentiments, because they're lovely too. It's all lovely. So thank you for joining me. Come back and join me again on Wednesday, which will be the 1st of March at 6 o'clock. I shall be here, God willing. Anyway, I shall be here. And then next Sunday, if you can only make it on Sundays live, next Sunday is the card kit launch. So thank you so much for joining me. I hope you have a really lovely day. Hope everyone that's not quite 100% is feeling a little bit more percent by the time I see you next. And take care, everyone, and I shall see you again very soon. Thanks then. Bye.